Welcome, chess enthusiasts. Get ready for an epic journey through the world of chess. In this channel, we explore the endless possibilities of this beautiful game, from the classic openings to the most creative tactics. Join me as we unravel the mysteries of the 64 squares, and learn from the masters of the past and present. Today, we have an exciting game of chess between Iquan_Nazir and IDhen Precious. This game was played on March 31, 2023, on chess.com. Iquan_Nazir played as white and IDhen Precious played as black. The opening moves were 1. e4 e5 2, nf3 d6, which is known as the Philidor Defense. The Philidor Defense is a chess opening that arises after the moves 1. e4 e5 2, nf3 d6. It is named after the French chess player François-André Danican Philidor, who was one of the strongest chess players of the 18th century. The main idea behind the Philidor defense is to control the central squares with the pawns and pieces, while avoiding direct pawn exchanges in the opening. This allows black to develop their pieces and castle their kings safely. After 3. bc4, white is aiming to control the center with their bishop and put pressure on black's e5 pawn. However, black has a few options to counter this move. One popular continuation is 3. nf6, which attacks the pawn on e4 and prepares to castle kingside. Another option is 3. b7, which defends the e5 pawn and prepares to develop the knight to f6. Overall, the Philidor defense is a solid and flexible opening that can lead to dynamic and complex positions. It requires careful planning and accurate play from both sides, making it a favorite among chess players who enjoy strategic and positional chess. Continue to the game. After 3. bc4, white is preparing to castle kingside and attack on the kingside. Black responds with 3. qe7, which is a less common move. White castles kingside with 4. and black develops their knight with 4. nf6. White continues with 5. h3 to prevent black's knight from jumping to g4 and attacking white's bishop on c4. Black responds with 5. b6, developing their bishop and attacking white's knight. After 6. nc3, white is preparing to develop their pieces and control the center. Black captures white's bishop on c4 with 6. bxc4, and white recaptures with 7. dxc4. This pawn structure favors white, as they have a central pawn majority. Black develops their bishop with 7. bar6, while white develops their bishop with 8. bg5, putting pressure on black's position. Black responds with 8. qd8, which defends their pawn on d6 but blocks their queen from participating in the game. White takes advantage of this and develops their knight to d5 with 9. n5, attacking black's bishop on a6. Black moves their bishop back to e7 with 9. b7, defending their bishop and allowing their queen to move to a better position if necessary. White captures black's knight on e7 with 10. nxe7, and black recaptures with 10. qxe7. White continues to pressure black's position with 11. nh4, threatening to capture black's pawn on f6 with their knight. Black responds by castling kingside with 11. White then advances their knight to f5 with 12. nf5, attacking black's pawn on g7. Black responds with 12. qe8, defending their pawn on g7 but leaving their king exposed to potential threats. White takes advantage of this and sacrifices their bishop on f6 with 13. bxf6, opening up the g-file for their rook. Black captures white's bishop with 13. gxf6, but this allows white to launch a strong attack on black's king with 14. qh5. Black responds with 14. kh8, but white continues their attack with 15. qh6, threatening mate on g7. Black tries to defend with 15. rg8, but white continues their attack with 16. qxf6 and 17. qxg7, winning the game by checkmate. In conclusion, this was an exciting game between Iquan_Nazir and IDhen Precious, where white was able to take advantage of black's passive play and launch a strong attack on their king. White's sacrifices and attacking play were decisive in winning the game. In this game, we see that black made a few mistakes that white was able to capitalize on. The move 4. nf6 was not the best move, as it allowed white to gain control of the center with 5. h3. Additionally, Black's move 6, bxc4 gave up the bishop pair, which is generally not a good idea unless there is a concrete reason to do so. White's decision to bring the knight to h4 was a good one, as it threatened to fork Black's king and queen. Black's response with 11:00 may have seemed like a good idea at the time, but it allowed White to create a strong attack with the move 12, nf5. After this move, Black was forced to give up the bishop pair in order to avoid a potential fork with nxe7. In the end, White was able to use the open lines and weakened pawn structure around Black's king to deliver a crushing checkmate. The lesson to be learned from this game is the importance of controlling the center and being aware of potential tactical threats. It's also important to be careful when giving up the bishop pair, and to avoid weakening your pawn structure around your king. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this thrilling game and learned something new. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more exciting content. And hey, if you want to have your games analyzed by a pro, feel free to share them in the comments below. Who knows, maybe your game will be featured in our next video. Until then, keep playing, keep learning, and keep enjoying the game of kings.